I'm Captain James Nelson. This is Dude Craft Guitars, and today we are working on the Hairy Scary models. So what we've got to get going on here is the holes for the tuner pegs, and what I'm going to do is adapt the template that we've got already to make that work. Basically just take about where I think that into the fretboard with the nut and the 0 fret, give or take a millimeter. And then I'm going to make that into my peg hole template. The other thing, let's see, we got to get to is where we're going to put the bridge and then the pickups. I'm going to look at what's the furthest up this guy will go. And that is where my intonation line is. So I've got the ruler edge right up against the fretboard. Now I'm going to draw, and of course it looks like right about where that glue line is. So when I did this, I planned ahead. Look at that, that's right in the right spot. The thing I love about this Meranti is it takes a hole very easily, poke something in it. Before I route, I definitely do have to get my actual routing template though. Even though we're not attaching the bridge until well after this thing is finished, I'm starting these holes now so that I don't have to worry about measuring and damaging the finish by doing measurements. I'll know exactly where these bridges go. So I'm cheating. I'm using a pre-slotted nut to give myself basic spacing. They're 10 millimeters apart because it's 5 millimeters from center to those. And then, yeah, so it's 10 millimeters apart. Oddly enough, I'm going to use this as a template for that. And make this template so I can come over here because I can't really line these up. That's going to be too difficult. And yes, we're doing these tuner holes while everything is still rough, because this Meranti does have a tendency to split when you drill it, and that way it gives us a little room to get to the final finish. Beautiful. And what we're doing is we're drilling a guide hole. But I want to make sure that I just get everything so it's nice and symmetrical here. And then I could take it to the drill press. Perfect. Adjusting the tilt back on this particular cheap drill press is just a pain, and then have to get it right again when you want it to be perpendicular. So what I've done, I just use a little shim. I just pop it in like this. Okay, and now we're just going to drill. All right, so there's where we are so far, and conferring with Mike exactly where he wants the output jack. The old one we had here, he said that didn't work as well as we dreamed of. So I don't know if we're going to put it in the front, in the back, whatever. I did make a huge cavity, and the reason being is because, again, we're going to put a battery in here for the electronics, for the lights that are going to go around it. Everything that you've seen me do here, I got to do on this one. And if you notice, this one, I put the tuners on just to test out, make sure that they all fit and look pretty, and they do. So got a lot more work to do on this one. This one's at rasp edges, so we've got to clean it up. This one is about 80 grit sandpaper all the way around, so it's getting there. Stick around. All right, well, that's going to conclude this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed following along. Now, the other one, I think I might do it differently. I do have a rabbit bit, and hopefully I could cut it. But this one, I already did the trimming, so I couldn't get the rabbit bit to work. That's why you saw me have to come in and hand saw and hand chisel. Mike did come by earlier and mentioned that he does want the output jack right here, so I'm going to drill a hole for that on both. And then also he explained how this system works. And obviously I've got to resolder the battery pack in. So I appreciate you stopping by. Come on back. Thanks again for checking out Dude Craft Guitars.